We really opened Pandora's box on this callback phone thing. I tried to read every comment, reply to most, and I even reached out to my contact at Commodore to help close a few gaps, iron out some details, and get some very specific answers to the questions the community had. In this video, we'll cover all of this and probably a lot more. Stick around.
Let's go into the Pandora world.
Let me start this video off with some clarifications and corrections from the last video. Some of you thought I implied that this was an Android phone. I did discuss the Sailfish OS base a few times, but there are still some of you that maintained this is an Android phone. It is not. Sailfish OS is a Linux-based OS that some phones are already based on. The Android sandbox runs at Android level 13 compatibility level, meaning that apps requiring 14 or higher will not run. I implied that financial apps may not run on an older Android version like 13. Commodore themselves mentioned that financial apps may be problematic and comprise some of that 1% incompatibility that they mentioned. I'm going to clarify more about this later. I mentioned that Commodore may not only blacklist browsers and social media apps, but also whitelist what you are allowed to even sideload. Direct from Commodore, this isn't true. They will not prevent any sideloading outside of the blacklist mentioned. The Commo Store will act as a user-friendly app store for those who don't want to acquire, transfer, or install APKs, Android apps. Of course, if you have no browser, getting APKs from third-party stores will be complicated. We don't have any data about how the phone behaves when plugged into a PC. MTP? Maybe. Hopefully. We need a way of getting photos off and music on, after all. Let's assume you can download APKs on your PC and copy them to the phone. You do have a PC, right? And no, we don't know what APK store that Commo Store may be fronting. But if I had to take a whack at it, I would guess Aurora Store will be the one providing the backend that Commo Store curates. Just my guess, not confirmed by Commodore. Moving on, many of you believe that 48 megapixel is good enough information to brand the camera as good. But those of us who've been around for a while, we know that megapixels don't mean anything. So I asked Commodore what CMOS is being used. After all, the CMOS tells the tale, and the fact that they omitted it begs questions. Commodore revealed to me that the CMOS is the Sony IMX586. This is a flagship sensor in 2018. It was praised in 2018, though, as being very capable, especially in excellent lighting. In low light, the sensor actually acts more like a 12 megapixel camera to help compensate for the lack of light. Most modern phones have onboard processing or even AI to help correct low light. This will not be present on the callback. Check the description for a link to an article talking about this sensor. This will be a very good camera with adequate light, but probably very average, hopefully not less, in low light. Again, we don't know anything until we actually get a device in hand and we have controlled tests of the image quality. Probably fine quality for social media, but oh wait, I got answers from Commodore on the audio system. Unfortunately, I'm embargoed from discussing the exact designation of the two DACs included, ESS and Cirrus. What I will tell you is that I was on the right track. This is not bargain bin stuff. This will make a very good digital audio player. Think low to mid-tier quality. Unless you're an audiophile super snob, you're going to be very pleased with the hardware here. It should even play some unusual formats. Sorry, I can't elaborate or I might give something away, which is still pretty cool. I'm very pleased with how this turned out, and I think many of you will be too. That said, there's one issue with it I can't speak of, but only the elite will care. Most of us, we are good here. So the website did say Pure Maps would be the included mapping tool. No Google Maps, of course, no Waze. But if you do your research, Pure Maps gets some praise, and the popular privacy-first mapping tool ASMAND, should be sideloadable or available in the Commo Store. Pure Maps will do for the normies, OSMand for the more discriminate driver. I actually used OSMand for a little bit on my Samsung Galaxy. It's impressive, but for those of you entrenched in Google Maps, you'll learn quickly that we're losing quite a bit. Your mileage may vary, of course. WhatsApp, boy, y'all have a pretty powerful opinion on this one. The problem isn't that WhatsApp is pre-installed. It's how Facebook has managed to get a huge world population dependent on it. If Commodore wants to change the world, they should replace WhatsApp with an ideal homegrown solution. Let's call it Commo speak. No gross harvesting, no location tracking, no data shucking. But I digress. Yes, confirmed WhatsApp is pre-installed. Commodore assured me that it can indeed be fully removed with no trace left behind. Listen, y'all assume that was the case, but try to remove Verizon apps from your Samsung Galaxy. It wasn't in the bag, but now we have confirmation proper. Many of you have expressed that no Android Auto means no sale. I totally get it. I'm very reliant on my in-car screen to help me keep my hands off my phone. That's the idea, right? And help me navigate and listen to music, take calls. Those with CarPlay or Android Auto know what I'm talking about. This doesn't exist on Callback. They say they are working on it. That's right from the FAQ. When it ships, then it's a feature. If you can't live without it, then please don't buy this phone. Now, I do have a potential workaround, but I cannot test it until I get the phone in hand. And if one of you beat me to getting one, reach out to me and I'll tell you my idea. On paper, it looks good and doable, but I won't make any promises until I can test it myself. For now, assume the feature won't come, ever, and you cannot be disappointed. Let's talk about the 1%. The 1% of Android apps that will not function on this device for the main reason that the Google infrastructure isn't here. I had to do a whole bunch of research to figure out the details, so you don't have to. Critical apps, banking, financial, authenticators are very wary about rooted devices. Now, for you Apple people, that's jailbroken. In the Linux world, rooted is the correct term. It means the phone has had most of its security layer peeled back so the user can do things the manufacturer normally doesn't want them doing. Rooted phones are far more susceptible to being compromised, so these sensitive apps do not want to run and risk the liability on a rooted phone. Here's the thing. Google's ecosystem provides a secure, reliable way for an app to check that and get told, this phone is clean, it is not rooted. The callback isn't rooted, of course, but it also doesn't talk to Google, but there's no way to prove it. And to a banking app, no proof is the same as being guilty. So, no Google, no promise of a clean device, so the financial apps won't play nice. Many of you have been clear. No financial apps, no sale. If your life cannot be done on a banking site wrapped in a web page container, Commodore could wrap these apps and still not provide a browser. I would stay very clear of this device until 100% confirmation that the app you care about has been made to work. They said they are working on a solution, but once again, once it ships, it's a feature. Moving on to the touchscreen. Lots of discussion about this too. Some assumed you could just turn it on whenever. Some folks were upset that it was being locked down per app based on the data that we had. I have direct answer from Commodore on this. The touchscreen will ship turned off. Certain apps will flip it on and off as necessary on an app-by-app basis. However, quote, we have a setting in the options that lets users enable and disable the touchscreen at will, unquote. Their words, not mine. So the touchscreen appears to be a non-issue for those of us concerned with this. I want to mention one last thing regarding the sideloading of apps. Being allowed to sideload apps doesn't mean they will actually run or run correctly. This should go without saying, but you could install a bank app and the Google attestation will fail and the app won't run despite being installed. Some apps may not support the screen size, might install, but won't be usable by any stretch of the imagination. There are a lot of things that can make a successfully installed APK not actually run. I do want to point out something that hasn't really been talked about yet, but it's 100% fair to mention. According to their website, small text, they divulge that this phone does not have FCC approval. Now, it is not uncommon to create sales pipelines with this approval pending, but if you read the small print closely, you'll see a block of text that includes, and I quote, the Commodore Callback 8020 is a radio frequency device subject to the rules of the U.S. Federal Communications Commission, FCC. This device has not yet completed the FCC Equipment Authorization Certification process. Your pre-order is a conditional sale. Delivery of the device to you is conditional upon successful completion of the applicable FCC equipment authorization process, and the device will not be shipped or delivered to you until that authorization has been granted. I also couldn't help but notice the AI content generation notice lumped in there as well, along with what I've been saying all along. Quote, research cited relates to restricting mobile internet access and limiting social media use generally. Callback has not been clinically evaluated as a treatment for addiction, unquote. I'll say it one more time. Phone and social media addiction often requires mental health professionals to treat. You can't get off heroin by hiding your car keys. This phone is not going to fix you if you have a serious problem. I don't know if you do. Hopefully you or someone who loves you does know. Enough said about that. I want to finish this up with some more personal, non-technical discussion. Many of you have said in the comments that you don't understand why people are upset about this phone. I wrote a long explanation as a comment reply, but I wanted to talk about it here. Hostess, the company behind Donuts and Twinkies, went out of business around 2013. People hoarded Twinkies like crazy. The shelves went bare. The fate of that sponge cake treat was completely unknown. When Hostess was purchased and reborn, the first thing to come back were what? Yes, Twinkies. Because of course it was. Anything else and the people would have rioted in the streets, right? To be fair, cupcakes came back too. So now all of Hostess fans were thinking, oh my God, ding-dongs, ho-hos, oh my God, those little pink snowballs. Imagine the possibilities. Now imagine if Hostess instead released next diet croutons to help make your salad more healthy and better for you. You laugh, but the callback is, to many of us, the diet crouton. We wanted donuts and zingers. A lot of people would love a diet crouton. I literally watched someone watching their weight scraping croutons off their salad just last night. Hand to God. And now, how would you expect the Twinkie freaks to respond to the Hostess Diet Crouton announcement? The good news is, once Hostess got rebuilt and the Twinkies and cupcakes got them back in the black, the rest came. The zingers are even back. The point is, people that don't care about Commodore as a company doesn't understand why we are upset. If you look through the comments of my big callback video, dozens of products were named alternatively as being what the people wanted. Hopefully this story helps both parties, those that don't understand the why we are upset and those that are actually upset. We got ho-hos back from Hostess, and Commodore told me flat out in my emails that the retro community is going to be thrilled about what is in the pipeline, even though they wouldn't tell me what those pipeline items are, and I understand. I have more questions into Commodore. I've asked for a review unit. We'll see what the future holds. In the meantime, don't let FOMO get to you, and have some compassion for the diet crouton people out here, okay? Thanks so much for watching. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. You guys know what to do. Hype the video if you're on your mobile device. That helps us out. Take care, and we'll see you next time.